Hello everybody and welcome to Jet TV. This is episode 3 of my Beastmen Let's Play as Malagor the Dark Omen. We've in a bit of a better position than we've, okay position at the moment. We are just licking our wounds a little bit just now. So I'm just trying to build back up and get myself into a better situation. We are on the end turn just at the moment. Somebody has just asked me why I'm not double timing in all of these end turns, and that's simply because, although I haven't actually sped them up to fastest, which I do need to be doing, however, I don't do the double time, because if you do the straight fast forward, guys, you actually lose a lot of the bonuses. So I hadn't realised I hadn't actually switched to fastest, however, so thank you very much for letting me know about that. So that should speed things up just a little bit. Okay, let's go back to play. So I'm trying to work out what I'm going to do at the moment. I don't want to get myself too deep into these guys' territory. However, being on the border here with the vampires isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I do have an area I can retreat into if needs be. So as I said, I'm probably going to hammer Belalid. We'll work out what my situation is then, if I can also take Martek. Oh, it's got a little windmill there. However, we'll work out where we are, and then I'm probably going to pull back and start burning through the Orklands and up into the border kingdoms. Key thing is to keep mobile. I only stop when I absolutely have to. Like at the moment, I can afford to be stopped because I'm sitting on the borders here and I've got a bit of income, so I'm in a nice position at the moment. Now, they do have a big army somewhere, but I have just had a big battle with it, so they're rebuilding as well. And also, these guys just quite simply can't see me at the moment. This does appear to be a little rebellion army here going on as well, so... Clan Skyer have been destroyed. That's an unusual one. So... Again, right now we are just building up, trying to get my lords up as well, because they are in a bit of pain at the moment. Also wanted to start looking down these buildings. Cygors are something very, very good to get myself early on. What other units? I also want to try and get up to these Centaurs, because they're my effective cavalry. So we've got some missile cavalry there, bestial cavalry, which is also shielded, which would be very nice. What's the speed of these guys? These guys have a speed of 84, so actually I'm probably going to start pushing to them relatively soon. Rather than my Razorgors. My Razorgors, let's see the difference. So, attack is 24, 24, 16, 16. These guys have a much more weapon strength. They also have a bit more armour, but they've got lower leadership. So it's a bit of a trick, a choice between one and the other. I'm not so fussed by this chaos tree, actually. So that one can probably wait. Anyway... unfortunately, guys, it's going to be another end turn here while we regroup. Oh, I should have built a few more units. Ah, silly of me. Sorry, we just had a little mute there. As I said, right now, I'm just building back up, so I'm not really trying to be massively aggressive. So actually, saving a bit of money by building those units wasn't necessarily a terrible thing, but next turn we'll build a few more units. I'll get some archers from my other army as well, and we will possibly take somewhere, take Belalid and potentially move on Martek, just to get ourselves going again. And as I said, then depending on how big these guys are, we're potentially going to start pulling back as well to head back up through the Orklands up to where some of the warm bloods are of, and bouncing around in the deserts here. We did kind of just get forced down here, so commander of a herd, so we can execute the beast lord, or we can get the extra leadership, or I'm going to take the bestial rage as we're sitting here at the moment. As you can see, actually I need to start going aggressive in a minute, so we'll do one more turn of recouping, and then it's going to be going aggressive again. That's very good. That's a lot of extra leadership for this army. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that'll do. How are we doing on archers? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So what do I want to be recruiting here? I can't actually afford to recruit anything here. Let's get these guys into the other army, however, because they are cheaper there. Oh, we only put one in there. And you can, no, we're not going to make much from that. You can go back into this stance, and next turn we're going to move on Belaled. Sorry, I do keep muting as I'm coughing, and I don't really want to coughing at you guys. So at some point I won't stop coughing, so I might have to stop doing that, but not just yet. So Belaled, then Martek are our next aims, and then we'll work out where we're going next. So that's going to be next turn. We're going to make the move on Belaled. I could take some negatives by going through all that horrible vampiric corruption there, but it does get me a settlement. I want the growth from it. I'm not going to be taking the gold this time. I want the growth. But if we raid through here, I don't think we take any negatives. Okay. I'm actually going to take that non-aggression pack because I want somewhere safe to be able to retreat into for the time being. And having that little, even when I'm pushing up here, having this place I can pull back into. The downside is obviously, but that means I can move in here. I can set up my camps and hide for a few turns while I lick my wounds after an aggressive stint. Right, now let us start. So it's not the best income from here, but it's by no means bad. Do I get more growth while I'm in this? No, I don't. I am also immune to attrition whenever I'm raiding, which is a very nice thing. So we are getting there nicely. Let's have a look. How is my growth doing? So we're going to grow up 1 soon, but I want to get to 4 so I can start getting my centaurs. I want some cavalry in my armies. That will really start helping, and at some point, once I'm big enough, I also want to get those reductions in cost of units. So we'll work out. We'll see how much money we'll get from Belaled, because if it's an absolute fortune, we might take the money. But I could use that growth. So this is where I kind of wish I could funnel growth from one herd to the other, but then you'd probably have like 7 herds, and you'd. Ooh, they've assaulted my units, those horrible people. Sorry, coughing again. So we'll go through the vampires here, and again we'll be hitting Belaled next turn. We should be able to knock that over relatively easily. I'll make sure both of my hordes are in range when we do that, so they both gain some bestial rage. And then we'll hit Martek, and if we keep this aggression going up, we might even get something else. Ooh, I do not want growth. The leadership is nice, but I don't want to lose my growth. Okay. So we have leveled up again. Let's raid towards the edge of there, and then let's attack. Nice auto. And it's not much gold, so we are going to take that growth. You are meant to be on raiding stance because that stops you taking negatives. Now we are on a little bit of negative here, but that was worth it. We are now pushing up this growth one. Soon I will actually start getting some better spells. Let's move this way a little bit. So we're going to be heading here next. And here we might take some gold. So we now have a population surplus of 2. We get a growth in 1 turn. So I want to get that up to 4 because then I can start getting some. These are the buildings which I really do want to get long run, but you can see that's at -5 growth, -10 growth. So that would be quite painful to me until I'm a lot bigger. Certainly I need to get these up as well. I do want to push these because these do increase growth, But I want to get those, start being able to get Centaurs in. I also at some point want to start getting Minotaurs in. So we're going to take the Centaurs first, and then we're going to start pushing growth, because that's going to be my best way of doing it. Because this just gives me some good, fast units to help deal with enemy cav. Which are better, basically. Weapon strength 54, weapon strength 72, leadership 73, 81. These are slightly slower. They are more armoured. They're not shielded, however. And these guys do rampage. They're anti-infantry. These guys don't really say, but I've got a feeling these are probably better mixed. A better mixed bag. Yeah, if they do get a nice charge bonus. We'll have a bit more of a look in a minute. What's that one? Anyway, it's time to get another tech, so we're going to do this one, so upping our replenishment rate again. Now let's see, because these guys might well be pulling an army down at me as quickly as they can, having taken here. We'll probably use the beast paths to shoot through here if we can. Get behind them maybe, unless I can raid into their territory in one turn. We'll see how much movement we've got here when we get there, and then we will start prodding them a little bit more. And you see, there comes an enemy army. And this is what I want to be careful of, because as I said, there are lots of enemy armies about. So, but I can just disappear if I want to. So I might just pull off a little bit, then vanish. I could probably still attack Martek before these guys can get involved. But if too many people start getting involved at once, it does get tricky. While big battles are fun, I want to avoid battles if I can. Oh, that's nice. So they want me to raise 8 settlements, so let's use the beast pass to get behind, and then we're going to vanish here for a couple of turns. We're not at war with those dwarfs, but no, once we've done that we'll vanish for a couple of turns, so hopefully we'll be relatively secure. And right, the other thing I want to do now is I want to hit this, because that's a lot of extra buffs. It does cost me all of that 5k, however. Right, and we might even be able to hit Martek this turn. Yeah, they've gone somewhere else, or I've lost sight of them. We'll see what happens. They could start pushing down towards me, but I'm not so fussed by that if they do. There are another Crusader Kingdom here as well, so you know we want to be paying attention to all of this. But again, all of these guys are probably at war with the vampires, which means I do have somewhere safe to pull back if I need to. So they're pushing forwards. Oh, that's useful, because they will have taken a lot of negatives there. So I'm going to hit Martek, and I'm potentially going to go straight back to Bel Alid as well, because they will have taken a lot of negatives there. But if we can definitely smash Martek quite safely now, and I'll probably take the gold from Martek, unless I'm not getting much, but I do need a bit of extra income at the moment, so we'll take that gold, because we got the growth from the last one. It's a balance here. It's keeping my income up and keeping my growth up. Right. That makes me think this is probably a fairly rich settlement. We're going to encircle. We're going to make sure my other guy is gaining some bestial rage from this as well. That was a nice, again, it's another nice easy victory. So 5k gold for doing that. That is worth taking. Now, the Gorbel has leveled up again, so I can make him missile resistant. I want to start upping his HP actually relatively soon. I'm going to do that one, because this is huge. That extra leadership bonus for all of the guys in this army. Because, you know, that's putting all of these guys to actually being quite high leadership, which is very beneficial. However, he is on low HP. Now I can rename him, guys, so name suggestions for my Gorbel, please. I want a nice, good name rather than Dazzu. Again, we can also rename Gorus if you do want Thomas. I can rename him what he was named before. Anyway, we're back onto this one. I can't quite afford that. I would like to get that one relatively soon, so we're going to go back onto Fell Rituals. And we're, again, in a fairly nice situation, so let's enter. Again, we're not getting to fight a huge amount of battles here. Well, we're not seeing a huge amount of battles. We're fighting them. They've all been auto-resolves again. That extra chunk of gold was very nice there. I do want to get somewhere I can start doing a bit of raiding, but again, I don't want to be taking too big a risk, because there's a lot of guys around here who can all charge me at once. And you see, this guy is... Where's he going? He doesn't necessarily know I'm here, to be fair. And I could also go raid those dwarfs down there for a little bit. Just to gain me a bit of income and potentially even cut through them, if depending on how powerful they are. Dwarfs are quite... I imagine dwarfs are going to be quite interesting to fight as beastmen, however, because they are the polar opposite. Beastmen are a bit fickle, you know, they run away a little bit back and forth, and they yeah. And they're not so, and then they attack, then they break, then they attack, whereas dwarfs are stubborn. So I can take a negative to movement range. I hate all of these. I'm going to take the negative to movement range, because I already have quite a lot of movement range. That is probably quite an powerful, quite a rich territory. So actually, I'm going to head down here and do some raiding. And this, guys, is why I hate these choices, because they're always tricky. Now I know I should be ideally keeping them separate when I'm raiding, but this is okay for the time being. Right, what do I want? I've got 19 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to merge them. So this army can obviously do a bit of recruiting. Oh, I can get him up there as well. I'm going to leave that. I want to save my money for the time being. Let's get an extra armor and an extra archer and an extra spear from that. Yeah, that'll do for the time being. Some of these, they're throwaway units. I don't care. They're just to fill up the gap. There's a bit more archers than I'd want, but those throwaway spears are probably... The archers are probably more beneficial to me than those throwaway spears, so... and I am relatively safe at the moment, so... I kind of wish I had a few extra units I could be throwing out around to look around the place, but I don't at the moment, so it's not something worth worrying about. And there comes the dwarf army, so I want to be a little careful. Oh, right. I am in a bit of a sticky situation here because I've got people both sides of me. Though they've just settled, so they should have taken quite a lot of losses to that army. So it might be worth me hitting there and getting the growth. We'll have a look what I can see next turn. This is going to be a tricky one, though. It's probably going to be one of those battles where I'll want to go and lick my wounds for a little bit afterwards. Okay, so... there you can see, so we've taken a lot. That's not a nice army to fight, but... could even jump over here. In fact, let's do that. That is a capital, though. I'm going to start raiding this way. Right, Mr. Gorble, you can hit him. No, my negative outcome is far too high there. And now I'm regretting taking that negative to movement, guys, because that's put me in a very tricky situation here. I can always beast path out and get away from them, however, if I want. I could always just vanish as well. That's probably what I should have done. I should have just vanished on this board for a couple of turns. Then they'd have gone away and then I could have marched in. Okay, so we'll have a look at that army. We'll do a cheeky save beforehand just in case. But we'll have a look at that settlement, work out if we can take it. Because they shouldn't have much in the way of a defensive force yet. So hopefully I can give them a good poke and smash them. Right. So they are still suffering. Let's move you as close as you can. Someone has leveled up here. Okay, and we're now up to the top of the horde growth, which is what we want. Do a cheeky little save. And let's hit them. Oh, we're not actually at war with these guys. Well, we are now. Okay, I'm actually going to fight this one because I think I can probably do a better job than it will do because I've been taking a lot of losses recently. Though again, cheeky save just beforehand just in case. They've got a lot of cavalry, but I do want to fight a battle. I don't like fighting cavalry, but I've got a lot of spears here, so I should be able to deal with cavalry, and they're all very broken units. My biggest concern is this trebuchet. So that's going to be our biggest thing. The horse archers are probably going to be a pain. All their arch units are relatively low. These halberds, meh, they're trash units. So, and their lords are going to be painful. So I probably want to focus on them. I don't want my Gorball getting involved because he is not in a situation to be dealing with that yet at the moment. I'm probably going to take quite a lot of losses in this battle, and then I'm almost certainly going to have to. We're almost certainly going to have to fall back and lick our wounds again afterwards. But I was getting too stuck here, so we'll smash these guys. We'll take the growth and we'll pull back into the hills and hide. Take a few turns, recouping our losses, so that we don't have to suffer so much. You know, getting our army back in order. Okay, I'm taking a gamble there. Now, this is obviously one of the new maps, so we're in this gorgeous desert now, and we've got this Bretonnian settlement on the Juni Hill behind us, which is very pretty. You know, they'd probably be better, you know, holding up on that wall, but you know that's not how this works. I am not forward deploying because most of my guys here can't. Let's keep these guys more central. My Gorbal is basically going to be sitting behind the heaviest bits of combat because he can still jump in if needs be, but that way he's good. I'm going to keep my giant ready to jump in where needed. And obviously we've got the other guys coming in as backup. Now they are potentially just going to stay still, because that trebuchet will force me to attack. Okay, so these guys can rush up here. You can form on this end. And you can form in with all the other archers. not the most sensible option, charging one single unit of cavalry who's already weak. They are not going to last long. But yeah, we can watch them dropping now. Right, we are going to start moving this line forward now because I'm taking too much damage from that trebuchet. I don't care. No, I'm going to wait a minute. I'm going to double time it a bit until my guys are in position, and then we... Oh, and here they come. They don't want to live. Now, we don't want to go too aggressive, but at the same time, we are an aggressive army, so I want to attack. I want to hit them, and I want to encircle them. So when they get a bit closer, we're going to start moving forwards. Let's swap you guys around actually, because they've got more melee in the middle. Mr. Giant, you can come over here, and right. It's time for the charge. Okay, my archers. Oh, I need to take them off skirmish. Giant can get involved. These guys can all start folding in and pinning. You three can all hit this lord, and in fact, all of you archers can focus on that lord. Let's throw an explosion down into the middle of these guys. You can charge in as well, as can you, Gorus. Oh, these guys are pushing through me here a bit. Let's keep on them. Let's hammer into their flanks again. Let's start hitting their lords hard with my archers. And let's keep on these guys. Okay, we're breaking them. This is good. Get my giant over to their lords. And my Gorbel can now charge. Let's get the melee specialist first. Let's keep these guys just to watch my back around, just to watch my back. You guys can keep chasing. And that is why I kept some of these guys around here, because I knew that was going to happen. You guys can hit them. You guys can keep chasing. We're on these lords. Okay, all of my archers can start hitting the other lord. We are breaking them. Let's just start hitting these guys now. Sounds daft. I don't actually want you chasing them, because chase them, it's too much. It's good, and this is it. We've cracked them. We've got the mass brow. So we took a lot of losses, but we are beastmen. We take losses, and we hammered them. Those. That was a nice, clean battle. I've got a lot of. This is why I've been building spearmen, because spearmen deal with their cav. Now, I obviously took more losses, but actually, considering the, I don't know whether the auto would have been better, but considering the type of armies, they've got a lot of nice cavalry here as well. Now, against a player, that might have been a completely different thing, because they would have got the cavalry around my back very early on, and they could have herded me a bit more. So we're straight taking the growth, and then we are going to fall back into the Nice, and we got a few little buffs there. You have leveled up, Mr. Gorus. Again, we're going to start taking horde growth here. Now we can do our other thing again. We can all fold all of these guys into one. So let's do a little bit of a mergey merge. I'm just doing that because it tidies up. I will re-recruit, but it also helps buff up my growth a little bit because I can re-recruit a lot of these units over the next few turns. It's possibly a bit more expensive, but at the moment I just want to be in a fighting state, whereas having small half damaged units means they break a lot more easily. So we're now at 5 population surplus, so I can start getting those centaurs, which I've been advised to get for helping me fight against these the Bretonnians, because it gives me a bit more cavalry. However, it's a playoff between these guys, because these guys also do armor piercing damage. They have a little bit less leadership. They're not shielded, but shielded's only really useful against archers, because if I look at my main things, so look at these guys, the shielded, that's small arms missiles from hitting you. So ideally my cav shouldn't be, so it's a toss up between the razor gores and the centaurs. So anyway guys, I am going to be ending this here, so let me know, razor gores or centaurs, which do you think I should go for first? Otherwise we're probably going to pull back next turn. We're going to spend a couple of turns licking our wounds, getting ourselves back into shape, and then we'll potentially start raiding in the dwarf territory for a little bit. Though I'm not necessarily sure I want to go up against the dwarfs just yet. Anyway guys, as always, thank you very much for your time, and if you've got any feedback, please feel free to throw it my way. Thank you for watching, guys.